Welcome to This Explainer. I want you to start by taking a deep breath and just imagine something with me. Imagine a stranger walks right up to you and offers you this highly unique, completely conditional bank account. Now this account, it automatically deposits exactly $86,400 into your hands every single morning. I mean, it sounds like an absolute dream, right? But there's a catch. One non-negotiable rule attached to this whole thing. Whatever amount of that money you don't use before the clock strikes midnight, it just disappears forever. The balance zeroes out completely.
Well, the reality is, life actually already gives you something infinitely more valuable than a daily cash deposit. Every single day that you wake up, life deposits exactly 86,400 seconds right into your account. And just like that imaginary bank, whatever you don't use by midnight, it's gone. You can't save it, you can't roll it over, and you definitely can't borrow against tomorrow. It literally just vanishes. Forever.
So think about it for a second. If this were a bank account stuffed with cold hard cash, would you waste even one single dollar? Of course you wouldn't. No way. You'd squeeze every single ounce of value out of it. You'd invest it, spend it, make it count. Yet when it comes to those 86,400 seconds we're gifted every single day, most of us waste them without even blinking. And we do this because we're completely paralyzed by one single pervasive misconception.
It's a dangerous lie, and honestly, it's one we've all told ourselves at some point. I'll start when the time is right. I mean, it sounds so responsible, doesn't it? It feels incredibly wise. But what if that perfect time literally never comes? Today, we're going to look at the story of a man who bought right into this exact lie. A man who spent his entire life just waiting for the stars to align, waiting for the perfect moment, until eventually there was absolutely nothing left to wait for.
Let's look at how this whole illusion of the perfect time builds up over a lifetime. We'll call him Daniel. Now, Daniel was just an ordinary guy, but he had these truly extraordinary dreams. At 22, he wanted to start his own business. The fire was there, but he told himself, you know what, I'll wait until I save a bit more money. So a year passed, and then another. And sure, his savings grew, but his courage, it didn't. Then, at 28, a new dream hits him. He wants to write a book. He bought all the fancy notebooks, watched all the writing tutorials, mapped out these beautiful, elaborate plans. But every single night, he just whispered to himself, I'm gonna start next Monday. And as we all know, next Monday never actually comes. By 33, the stakes got way higher. He met the absolute love of his life. He wanted so badly to tell her how he felt, but fear crept in, convincing him to wait for the absolute perfect moment to confess. Well, that perfect moment did arrive, but it arrived for someone else. She ended up marrying another man.
When Daniel lost the woman he loved, he naturally tried to protect his heart. He leaned heavily on this concept of fate, really using it as a comforting excuse for what was, in reality, just waiting around. He told himself, well, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. It's a really comforting excuse, right? But deep down in his gut, Daniel knew the agonizing truth. Fate didn't steal his opportunity, waiting did. And so, the years just kept rolling by. His grand dreams quietly, softly turned into memories. And those memories, they slowly, inevitably soured into regrets. Which brings Daniel to age 42. Now, looking from the outside in, Daniel's life appeared incredibly successful. He had the stable job, the nice house, a really respectable salary. People around him literally called him lucky. But every single morning when Daniel looked in the mirror, a total stranger stared right back at him. He felt this profound, heavy emptiness, not because he had failed at life, but because he had never actually tried to live it. One evening, while he was just cleaning out his attic, he stumbled onto this old cardboard box, and inside he found a literal physical manifestation of all his delays. We're talking dusty notebooks, unstarted business plans, a guitar he promised he'd learn to play, faded travel brochures for places he never went, and just one single unfinished book chapter. Staring down at that box, it was like every single item inside was whispering the exact same painful sentence to him. You said you'd do it later. The sheer emotional weight of that realization completely broke him. Daniel just sat down silently on that dusty attic floor, and for the first time in years, he wept. He didn't cry because life had been cruel or unfair. No, he cried because it finally hit him that he was the one who postponed his own life. He had systematically delayed his own happiness, all under the guise of just waiting until he was ready.
A few days after that whole attic incident, Daniel decided to go visit an old friend named Michael. And honestly, the stark contrast between their two lives was pretty revealing. See, Michael wasn't richer than Daniel. He wasn't naturally smarter, and he definitely wasn't luckier. The only difference, the absolute defining difference between the two of them, was that Michael never waited. When Michael wanted to learn something, he just started. When he wanted to build something, he tried, he failed, and then he just tried again. When fear showed up, and let's face it, it always does, Michael moved forward anyway. He started imperfectly. Daniel, who was just totally exhausted by his own regrets at this point, finally looked at his friend and asked, "What is your secret?"
Michael just smiled. He didn't hand over some complex, overly deep philosophy. Instead, he simply pointed out the window toward this massive old oak tree standing tall right in his backyard. Michael asked, "Do you know when the best time to plant this tree was?" Daniel just kind of shook his head. Michael replied, 20 years ago. He let that silence hang in the air for a second, really letting the weight of all that lost time settle in. Then, Michael smiled again and said, "The second best time is today." Man, those words hit Daniel harder than anything he'd ever heard in his entire 42 years on Earth.
In that single moment, just staring out at that oak tree, Daniel experienced this profound realization that shifted his entire mindset. He finally understood the fundamental rule of those 86,400 seconds. Life does not reward people who just wait in the wings. The universe isn't handing out prizes to people holding out for the absolute perfect conditions. No, life rewards people who begin. It rewards the messy, the scary, the completely imperfect beginnings. It rewards the courage to take a step way before you ever feel fully ready.
That night, Daniel lay in bed completely unable to sleep. His mind was just racing. That oak tree and Michael's words just kept echoing in his head. The whole lie of the perfect time was finally shattered for him. He kept asking himself this one haunting, really pivotal question. If today isn't the perfect day, then when will it ever be? Seriously, there is always going to be a reason to delay. There's always going to be a lack of money, a lack of time, some shadow of fear creeping in. The perfect day is just a mirage. And as the dark hours of the night slowly ticked by, Daniel realized he had a choice. Before the sun rose the next morning, Daniel made a definitive, life-altering decision. A decision that would guarantee he never, ever wasted another daily deposit of seconds again.
But to find out what Daniel decided to do before that sunrise, and how he finally stepped right out of the waiting room of his own life, well, you'll have to join us next time. We're going to explore the immediate actions that can actually transform deep regret into sudden, absolutely unstoppable momentum. Until then, I want you to look at your own clock and ask yourself, what are you waiting for? I'll see you in part 2.